What's up, everybody? Jayan here. I'm a video game vocalist and I am a video game concert producer. I have contributed to titles such as Watch Dogs Legion and Beyond Good and Evil 2. And with my team at Helvepic, we produced the official World of Warcraft 20th anniversary concerts. So, I just wanted to take this moment to thank you all so much for your comments, for your kind words on my reaction video of Une vie à t'aimer. I'll be very honest, I was very hesitant to even upload it at all. I even thought of trimming out a lot of my reactions because of how emotional I got. So it means a lot to me that you all were so very accepting of me being myself and me reacting to such a beautiful song that left me in quite the state. Let's just say that. Merci beaucoup, mes amis francophones. Je vous adore. Vous êtes nombreux dans mes commentaires et ça me touche énormément. Comme je dis, le français, c'est pas ma langue maternelle, mais vous avez été nombreux à me soutenir la manière comment vous le faites. Donc, je vous aime, je vous adore. Merci beaucoup. So, what are we going to react to today? We are going to be reacting to one song, but two different versions. Now, let me explain. I wanted to react to Until Next Life. It is a track that features Alice Duport-Percier, of course, in the vocals, but also features Ben Starr. I'll be very frank. The only reason I know of Ben Starr is because of this. I only know him because of his meme. I'm sorry. I do feel kind of bad because he seems like a really, really swell guy. I've seen some interviews of him, and I know he's in Final Fantasy 15 or 16 or both. I don't remember, but and he seems like such a swell guy, you know? So when I heard that he actually sang in one of the songs here, I was like, that would be really a cool thing to review. So in anticipation of me reacting to this song, I wanted to look up some interviews related to his involvement in the soundtrack. Not necessarily in the game, but the soundtrack specifically. To what extent did he contribute as a vocalist? And it was really quite humbling to hear how he described his involvement. And even the story behind it is actually pretty hilarious. So he and Jennifer English, the other voice actress in the game, they visited Sandfall Interactive in Montpellier. Everybody was having drinks together, basically. And so the composer, Lorient Testard, pulled Ben aside and asked him, hey, do you want to sing in my soundtrack? And Ben was like, me sing in the soundtrack? It seemed to me he was like a little bit dumbfounded because, you know, like he's apparently not a singer. So it kind of surprised him to be pulled aside for that. So he decided, okay, I'll give it a go. So we're going to be listening to this first. Now, the second part is where things get also a little bit more interesting because we are going to be reacting to the second version, which is part of the orchestral sessions from Sandfall Interactive's YouTube channel. First, there's going to be audio only featuring Ben Starr. And then second one will be, I think, only with Alice Duport-Percier. So, you know, I'm really excited. I'm really excited because it's not every day that you have a voice actor who doesn't necessarily feel like he's a singer, who contributes to a soundtrack and who is very humble about it. He also described his performance as being very real, that it's not perfect. I'll be the judge of that, Monsieur Starr. Let's have a listen to this, okay? So, grab your favorite drink. I've got some chamomile tea with honey again. As you can hear, my voice is a little bit, not in such a good state. But hey, look, Henry Cavill as The Witcher. He's very handsome there. Yes, tea and a Henry Cavill mug. Yes, absolutely. As The Witcher. Yes, yes. Okay, I am ready to react. So let's dive right in.
Old friend, you've traveled miles, spinning in circles, your blind eyes on the dial, stripping out the colors.
Okay, we're gonna stop right here. This song is shorter, so I reserve the right to do that. Mais Monsieur Starr, vous êtes quand même doué comme chanteur, mais pourquoi vous êtes aussi modeste? Mais Monsieur Starr, mon petit étoile, mais qu'est-ce que... What? Wow. Guys, have you heard his timbre, the sound of his voice, his timbre? It is so beautiful. It feels like a hot chocolate milk, basically, like with a little bit of honey inside. It's so gooey and it's so nice. And his vibrato is so nice as well. Mr. Starr, seriously, you are being way too modest. Not perfect. It is real and it is beautiful. I know that every artist tries to achieve perfection in their performances, but honestly, as long as you're able to convey the emotion in your performance, and as long as you can hit the pitch, and as long as you can understand how to use your vibrato, you can deliver such an emotional performance. And my gosh, this is so beautiful to listen to. And then combined with Alice's vocals, you know, it's such a beautiful combination. I mean, my gosh, this is really such a great first impression. Like, wow. Okay, so let's continue on, right?
A man whose steps leave no trace. A man whose voice sounds like tears. A man whose memory rests. A man whose time
I want to stop right here because, you know, when they started this song, both Alice and Ben, they started in the lower register, right? And it's this very warm and comforting kind of, you know, feeling when you hear their voices. Let me just read out the lyrics to you. I mean, I'm sure most of you have understood it, but a man whose steps leave no trace, a man whose voice sounds like tears, a man whose memory erase, a man whose time flow off beats. It's so beautiful. It's very interesting because in both cases, both vocalists, the tone of their voice is so different. So when you have Alice who sings her part, her voice is so clear when she hits those high notes, and she sings the notes and a vibrato kind of like sneaks a little bit in right after, like a first straight note and then a little bit of a vibrato. And that is so beautiful. But then in the case of Ben, you have him who's just letting it out, you know, and this guy is supposed to be just a voice actor and, you know, not used to singing for video game soundtracks. So it is really such a nice, it's like he opens up, you know, and he just lets it out. Like he lets out these emotions and the words have weight, you know, and it's so beautiful. I love the lyrics, and I find it interesting because, you know, in the previous, in Une vie à t'aimer, we were talking about the part of the lyrics where If our pulses play against the beat, si nos pulsations jouent à contretemps. Here again, we have some reference to offbeats. I find it really interesting that we've got another kind of like reference or like some connection to another track from the soundtrack. So, but my gosh, I mean, it is so beautiful, and it's a very short song, and we're halfway through it. So let's pick up where we left off. But first, I'll take a sip.
You learn that all is not in vain. All that matters remains.
That is so nice.
But it's time to say goodbye until next life. A man whose steps leave no trace. A man whose voice sounds like tears. A man whose memory rests. A man whose time flow of beats.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, this is so beautiful. Oh, wow. Isn't that amazing? You have Alice Duport-Percier, singing here, but with another male vocalist who is very different from Victor Borba. And, in the case of Ben Starr, I mean, my gosh, give yourself a little bit more credit. Honestly, like a performance like this, it is beautiful, and you should really seriously consider doing more singing gigs. Absolutely. You have to. I think what I find pretty incredible for actors is that, their profession is like, they know how to tap into their own emotions for the characters that they portray. And Ben has done this so beautifully. Like, I don't know the character he's portraying, right? And I don't know much of the game just yet, but I can tell this character has this warmth to him. Warmth, but something melancholic as well. So Ben Starr really knows how to tap into these emotions and translate them into a vocal performance. And it is beautiful. It is so gorgeous. S'il vous plaît, Monsieur Starr, mon petit étoile, s'il vous plaît, chantez plus souvent. Vous êtes incroyable. Now, I also want to comment a little bit about the instruments that were used in this music track. It's a very small ensemble. I think of a small string ensemble and some guitar. So I'm guessing that the guitar playing might be, again, Lorient Testar, but I'll have to double check. But combine that, like the guitar with probably like violins or something, like violin cellos. I think I heard some cello, but the soundtrack is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. And there's really this kind of like lots of melancholy going on here. Let's just quickly go back to the lyrics, right? Like in the beginning you have, old friend, you've traveled miles, spinning in circles, your blind eyes on the dial, stripping out the colors. When I hear this, I can't imagine that it's, about people who feel like they're on this journey, but who feel a little bit lost, almost pursuing kind of like a lost cause in that sense. And it is beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful in a very tragic sort of way, the way it's described in the lyrics. I do think that the chorus a man whose steps leave no trace, a man whose voice sounds like tears. Wow, like, can you imagine a man whose voice sounds like tears? That's, oh, you know, when reading the lyrics, it's actually quite tragic because it talks about, I guess, an encounter that, like a journey that is shared with another person, a loved one, and that it seems to me that it's going to be quite tragic. And I want to quickly come back to what I was saying about Ben Starr and his performance. He really managed to tap into his emotions in a way that you can tell that just from his singing, I would imagine his character to be someone who probably had some warmth, but is now wounded and vulnerable. And it is so, it's so, I can't emphasize how incredible this track is, how incredible all of the tracks are that Lorient Testar and Alice Duport-Percier composed together. It is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. And I'll just come back to the fact that Ben Starr, vous nous avez vraiment bien caché ce talent, Monsieur l'Étoile. Vous avez une incroyable présence dans votre chant, dans votre performance. Donc, s'il vous plaît, continuez à chanter. This track probably was recorded like years ago, but I will already say this. There is a clip of Ben Starr performing online, and he's not performing that just any kind of song. If any of you saw the GDC concert this year on the main stage, he actually performed Baldur's Gate 3, spoilers, Raphael's act, and he portrayed Raphael. And when he performed, my gosh, like, let me just quickly show this clip, okay? There we go. There we go. I remember this so well. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You know, he commands such an incredible presence when he performs on that stage. And it's the same kind of presence that he has in his song. A little bit, of course, very different from what he sings here, because he's very much in character as Raphael. But here in this song from Lorient Testar, I mean, my gosh, you can tell he's really into his character, and he is giving everything in his performance. And that goes to show that he should definitely consider doing more singing gigs. I really have to insist on that. Like, I would love to see him on stage singing Until Next Life. Honestly, that would be so insane. That would be really beautiful. All right, so let us hop into the second version of this song, which is part of the orchestral sessions that is on Sandful Interactive's YouTube channel. We're going to be commenting on not only the performances, but also the visual production. And I am so excited about that. So let's hop right into it. Wait, first I need a sip. Let me just... okay. Always take a sip before you start reacting. That's my golden rule, basically. I'm making up as I go. Ooh. Oh. And there we go. We have Lorient.
Old friend, you've traveled miles.
Oh my gosh.
Spinning in circles, your blind eyes on the dial, stripping out the cold
Okay, let's stop right here. Did you guys see how they did the shot? That was pretty incredible. And again, like cinematography right here. This is so beautiful. When they start the shot, everything is blurry. I'm not sure if it's with the camera or with the software, video editing software, but they start with that really, slow moving tracking shot, and they move towards the guitar player who is Lorient Testar, and the timing is just so perfect. And you can tell, I'll keep coming back to this, you can tell that whoever directed this music video, Daniel Sicard, of course, has a background as a music artist or as a, musician. As we've mentioned in the previous videos, all these music videos are directed by the orchestrator and the arranger and the conductor of the Orchestre Curieux. So you can tell that this guy knows what he's doing. He knows the timing of the musical performance. He knows how to match the timing of the performances with the shots that are planned. So this is really, really beautiful. And I also want to take a moment, like the way the whole color grading of this video is absolutely spectacular. We have like the harsh lighting and the dark undertones that are coming together so beautifully. And I love the shot, where we have the guitar, where we have the shot on Lorient Testar, and then in the background we do see like the the instruments that are just there, like the contrabass and the cello, and it is beautiful. And the harsh lighting that hits that contrabass, you see, this is what I mean with Clair Obscur. You use the harsh lighting and the dark undertones to really emphasize the objects that you want to put forward. When you use harsh lighting, it immediately draws the attention of the viewer. It is a golden rule in filmmaking that the brightest part of your video will attract the audience, the viewers, a lot more, will attract the eyes a lot more. And that's why like the Clair Obscur art works so well in these music videos. Let's keep on going, shall we?
A man whose steps leave no trace, a man whose voice sounds like tears.
That is so beautiful.
A man whose memory rests, a man whose time full of peace. You learn
Oh my
that
gosh.
all is not in vain.
I'll comment on this right away, but
All that matters remains, but each star
there we have our favorite viola player, I think. Oh my gosh, this
Next light, a man whose steps leave no trace, a man whose voice sounded like tears, a man whose memory
very
a man whose time flow of peace.
and the cellist. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. This is so wow. Yes, ended with that. Very good. Okay, guys, this is okay. What I absolutely love about this music video, it's one continuous shot from beginning to the end. it is one continuous shot. And friends, this is not easy to pull off. You would have to know exactly where your camera is going, which instruments at which specific moment to focus on. You cannot. This is wow. Daniel Sicard, vous êtes un génie. C'est incroyable. Whoever this Daniel Sicard is, he's really, really incredible with this, because in my previous videos, I said you have to have like a storyboard that allows you to structure a little bit how you're going to tell your story, how you're going to, how your music video is going to look like. In this case here, the camera guy, probably he was using a gimbal, or yeah, most likely a gimbal. Yeah, a Steadicam, basically, a Steadicam operator. So Pierre-Louis Bertrand, I think it was him who shot this whole sequence, basically, the whole thing from beginning to end. That is pretty amazing, okay? The director would have to coordinate with the Steadicam operator to make sure that he focuses on the instruments depending on the people. And I'm pretty sure this was not like a one-shot sort of thing. This had to be rehearsed over and over again until they would get that one perfect shot from beginning to end. And let me just show you quickly. It's not that easy to manage a production from beginning to end, because when you're filming, you have to make sure that the instruments that you focused on are not blurred, and that can be relatively tricky. You have to make sure that the lighting works pretty well. Here, the lighting is, you don't have a lot of lighting going on, right? But you have this harsh lighting. You don't have soft boxes, so like diffusers. You have very few lights. And if they are used, either they're in the background or you have some very harsh lighting that are kind of like on the side of the faces or highlighting certain aspects of the instruments. Like, for example, here with Lorient, you have this very harsh lighting on his head and as well as his shoulder. In the case of Alice, you have harsh lighting on the side of her face. For the other instruments, you have harsh lighting on the sides. So it's always this sort of, the harsh lighting is there to really put the people more forward. And it is really not easy to you would have to be really good as a Steadicam operator to manage all of that. Okay, so yeah, this is really, really so beautiful. I absolutely love how intimate this feels. This track here, this version definitely feels more lonely in the performance. What I mean by lonely, you don't have the male vocalist that is there, you know. And I feel like it makes such a huge difference, you know, when you have two vocalists on this track, you know, performing the same words together, you know. There's this sort of like this comfort when, you know, you perform something together, knowing that you're not alone and knowing that, yes, you're facing the same struggles, you're on the same path, and it's not easy, but at least, you know, you're sharing in the same suffering. And here in this version with only Alice, it feels more intimate and the struggle is more personal, and it is like only one person that is facing this on her own, basically. Oh my gosh. And Alice, my gosh, her vocals are so soft, it's warm, and it's so crystal clear. It is beautiful. And when she hits those high notes, it's emotional and powerful as well, you know, not in the belting kind of way, but it is big, and it just wraps you into this very this emotional performance. I love the setup The setup is so beautiful as well. The setup is so cool. It's Daniel Sicard and his team. They have really experimented a lot with the idea of Clair Obscur in their music videos. In Lumiere, you have more bright colors. In Alicia, you have a little bit more dark and harsh shadows, but still quite a bit of light. And then in this one here, there's way more shadows and just a bit of lighting, but very harsh lighting. I'm pretty sure they used like a spotlight on the performers, because the lighting is very, very harsh and it is direct, and it is beautiful. And my gosh, the lyrics. This song feels more like you're at the end of, like, you've been on a long journey and you sit by a fire and you pull out your guitar and you start playing tunes, and you both kind of reminisce the struggles that you've faced during this journey, and you highlight really the pain that the people feel as they venture forth, basically. But I didn't pick up on the second part of the verse, actually. I'm just reading the lyrics right now. You'll learn that all is not in vain. All that matters remains. Oh my gosh. But it's time to say goodbye until next life. Oh no, I'm getting emotional again. Oh no, I cannot do that right now. All that matters remains. Oh my God. All that matters remains. That gets to me. That really gets to me. You'll learn that all is not in vain. All that matters remains. Yeah. Yeah, no matter what you've gone through, it will amount to something. So not everything is lost, you know. Oh, these lyrics. Oh, these lyrics. I love the fact that we have a composer here who has not only dabbled into French songwriting and kind of like made up Latin language songwriting, but also English songwriting. And it's not easy the way you structure the songs in different languages. It is actually quite tough, you know. When hearing the song for the first time, of course, it's always hard to kind of like pick up on the lyrics and, you know, to kind of like really focus on their meaning. So I always like to, you know, after I've heard the song for the first time, I like to just look up the lyrics and see, like, you know, what is the song really about. I'm going to put the lyrics right here so that you guys can see. But basically, you have the first verse, right? Right there. And this is coming, it's really interesting because the song is focused on the point of view of someone talking about someone else. And let's say, in this case, Alice Duport-Percier, she's singing about her point of view of her friend, basically. And in the first verse, she is talking about, you know, his actions, this person's actions, what he's doing. And in the chorus, I believe, she describes who this person is or what this person feels deep inside. The second verse is focused more on hope, on the hope for something better. And even though it's like, it's goodbye, it's the end until next life. It's just, yeah, there's definitely this sort of theme of things coming to an end and having to come to terms, you know, accepting that. It is so beautiful. And then coming back to the chorus, describing this person, this friend, like there's a lot of thought that went into the lyrics, you know. So I also want to talk quickly about the whole arrangement of the song. The way it's really built is that it starts intimate with guitars and vocals alone. Like guitar starts first and then the vocals jump in, basically. And then you have more strings join in in the first chorus, but not all of them. You have the contrabass that is not joining just yet. I would imagine that I believe it joins in only in the second and final chorus, basically. And I think it's to add this sort of more weight to the track. Some of the parts, like especially in the second verse with the strings, where they start with this sort of like I don't know if it's like a pizzicato or tremolo strings, but it's basically like in the beginning of the second verse, it's just like something like that, like very sort of like, it's so intimate. It's so well arranged. I'm still wrapping my mind around the fact that they did this in a single shot. Like I said, you really have to know what you're shooting, and you got to time it right, and you got to make sure everybody is in focus and when to pull out the focus, basically. So it is really beautiful cinematography. And I want you guys to really compare a little bit the music videos that we've seen so far with Lumiere, with Alicia, and with this one here. Pay attention to the overall tone of each music video. Here in this case, it is darker and it's got a bit of a more bluish undertone, but it has harsh shadows and harsh lighting as well. And you've seen like at some moments where you had like Alice Duport-Percier and Lorient Testar, they're kind of like, they're sat down and they have these lanterns that are just right in front of them. That's why I'm kind of getting this sort of like campfire sort of vibe. It's almost like the campfire moment where from Final Fantasy X, like just before they head off to Zanarkand, basically. Like it's that moment where the whole gang from Titus and Yuna and they're all kind of like sat down and they know that the next step is basically going to Zanarkand, and it's going to be the end. Basically, it's going to be the end of their journey. And this kind of like feels like it feels the same way, but it feels even darker. It feels like it's more of almost kind of like an impending doom it's so great. It's so great. And I love this song. I love this song so much. I would love to sing that song. I would really love to sing that song. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed Ben Starr's performance. Ben Starr is a good singer. He's an excellent singer, and I think he should really pursue that. He should really do this more often. If he has the chance to like even perform on stage, and we've all seen that he has performed on stage, I think if he can do that more often with a guitar player and just him, and then, like with a female vocalist and him and a guitar player, or even just him and a guitar player. Like, honestly, I would love to see that. All right, so let's just do a quick recap. Ben Starr is an excellent singer, and he should definitely keep on singing. I think he should definitely pursue that. The songwriting here is beautiful, and I love the use of the English language in this case here. And I love the performances from Alice Duport-Percier. As always, she has this crystal clear performance, warm and rounded sound. And Lorient as well, like always so great to see the composer himself being in a music video and strumming his guitar, picking his guitar. It's just really fantastic. Honestly, guys, not gonna lie, I am really enjoying the fact that you guys are with me on this journey as I am discovering all these music tracks, even though I haven't played the game. And based off of all the comments that you've sent my way, I am definitely considering playing the game, but live streaming it so you guys can actually see my reaction as I pick up on the different music tracks and experience those tracks in the game. As I've mentioned on social media, right now I can't really dedicate the time to play the game just yet or play it at all. I'm waiting for a time where I can, buy the console and buy the game along with it, and then set up the stream so I can, so we can all experience this together. It's going to take me some time, but I hope you guys don't mind that. In the meantime, I would love to just first hear all of these tracks and break them down for you, and then, experience it later on again inside the game and just see how different it is, So I hope you guys will bear with me as I kind of like try this out. So in the meantime, thank you all so much for your patience. It really, really means a lot to me. All right, so I just want to take a part of this video to answer some of your questions that you have, because you have sent so many questions and comments my way that I feel like I have to respond to a few of them. Let's check out this comment from Blue Lunacy. How difficult would this song be to perform live? Just the emotions alone and the 11 minutes too. So the song in question is from Une vie à t'aimer. How difficult would it be to perform this song live? Okay, so I'm going to answer this as someone who has worked on concert productions. So it all depends on the tracks. If we're talking about Une vie à t'aimer, I think it's a little bit more challenging because the whole track is basically a composition that was done, in a digital audio workstation. So you have some instruments that have been recorded, but not all of them. And you have like quite a bit of sound effects and sound designs and soundscapes that are involved as well. And 11 minutes is a very long segment. It's definite. I do think it's feasible. And I think because Sandfall Interactive does have an orchestrator on the team, I do think they can definitely translate this song into a live performance. The question would be, do you want to make it as representative as the original track, or do you want to completely reorchestrate it? Let me break it down to you. Okay, so let's take World of Warcraft, for example, right? Every title screen from World of Warcraft expansions, from World of Warcraft Vanilla up to the latest expansion, The War Within, all of these titles are recorded with an orchestra. So live musicians. And the way the process, and the way it usually happens is that you have the composers, they compose the tracks, basically, and then they work with an orchestrator to transcribe the parts for musicians. The composer works with the orchestrator, and the orchestrator helps in the creation of these music sheets that will be given to musicians, who will be then recorded when you have the orchestral recording session. It is the orchestrator's responsibility to tell the composer, hey, this might be a little bit too tough for this type of musician to perform that part. So the orchestrator tells the composers what is feasible or realistic for musicians to perform or not. Once the orchestrator is done, they go, like the composers and the orchestrators and anybody else involved in like this sort of like music team, they go to a recording studio where you have all the musicians on site. Either they have the orchestrator that does the conducting, or they have an additional conductor who basically conducts the parts, and the composers and the orchestrators are there on site to make sure that everything is interpreted the way it was written out, basically. A composer will comment after a recording is done and say, oh yeah, maybe can you just make this performance a little bit more lively, make it a little bit more quiet or something like that. So it's really a fascinating process, this whole thing. What I'm trying to say is that Sandfall Interactive has the advantage where they have not only a composer, but an orchestrator working with the music team. And I think if they play their cards right, they can definitely create a live version of Une vie à t'aimer. I definitely think is feasible, but there's like a huge process, and the process is very long. If there's a track there's going to be a lot of time that will be invested into creating the music sheets, how representative they want that live performance to be to the original track. There's definitely like kind of like a more cut down version of that track that can be done, but I think it all depends on how much time the team can dedicate to this, basically. Will you record playing the game? I'm very, very curious to your reaction to it. Yes, I would love to, but I can't really do it right away. As I've mentioned, I just don't have the means to do it right now. But I promise that I will do everything in my power to make that happen. So yeah, I know a few of you guys have noticed that I have an Alliance-themed chair from World of Warcraft. And I love this chair very much, especially given the fact that this chair is the very same chair that was used for the World of Warcraft concerts. I'll show, just a clip right there. But yeah, these chairs are from the concerts, and Streamlabs basically sponsored our concerts, and they donated these chairs. So some of us got to keep these chairs, myself included. So I really love this chair. I fell asleep on this chair like 5 or 6 times already. So it's really super comfortable. All right, so I think we've come to the end of our video. So this was Until Next Life, from the Clair Obscur Expedition 33 soundtrack, composed by Starr and I believe also Alice Duport-Percier, with some guest vocals from Ben Starr in the first version. And yeah, what did you guys think of it? I'd like to hear your thoughts about the visual production, Ben's performance. I mean, come on, guys, we all agree. Ben's performance was pretty good. Of course, I don't have to repeat what I say about Alice and Lorient. They're incredible artists of their own making. I love what they've done with this music track. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you want me to react to next. And I will catch you on the... Wait. As I was saying, let me know what you want me to react to next, and I'll catch you on the next video, okay? Take care, everybody. Bye.